Suguru Geto is one of the most compelling characters in all of Jujutsu Kaisen, and it was recently revealed in the anime that the Geto we've been seeing in Yuji's time period is not actually Geto. While that is a story for another video, this video will examine just exactly who the real Suguru Geto is during his lifetime. Let's go. The first time we chronologically see Suguru Geto, he's a student at Tokyo Jujutsu High. He and his best friend Satoru Gojo are basically deadlocked in terms of power as they're both special grade sorcerers at that young of an age. Despite being best friends, their ideologies vary drastically. This is evident from the very first conversation we ever see them have. During their mission to check on Meimei and Utahime, Gojo fails to put up a curtain so that the outside world couldn't see the battle. Gojo makes the claim that looking out for the weak is a pain. Geto fires back saying that keeping their peace of mind while protecting the weak is the job of a Jujutsu sorcerer. These two ideologies are quite literally the complete opposite of what we see from both of these characters in the future, so keep that in mind. The two soon embark on their mission to protect Riko Amanai until her merger with Tengen, and that's when the two of them start to change drastically. The people that they're protecting Riko from are from two different groups. Q, which is a group of curse users looking to overturn Jujutsu society, and the Time Vessel Association, which is also known as the Star Religious Group. It's important to note that the TVA is a group of non-sorcerers. This will be really important for Geto's character development later on. Gojo and Geto fight off tons of curse users from the group Q so bad that they even disband the entire organization. Now they just have the non-sorcerer group to take care of, so it'll probably be easier for them is what they figure anyway. They begin to face bounty hunters hired by the TVA to take out Riko now, so it's pretty much a roller coaster until they return to Tokyo High where they should be safe. Once inside the barrier of Tokyo High, Gojo lets his limitless technique lapse because he should be safe, and Toji uses this immediate opportunity to stab him. Geto now takes on escort duty while Gojo fights Toji. See, with pretty much any other enemy, Gojo would easily win, but Toji's kit was just different. He had zero cursed energy thanks to his heavenly restriction, which means that Gojo can't track his location at any time. And he also has the inverted spear of heaven, which nullifies any curse technique, so he's able to stab and pierce through the infinity. Toji does this, stabbing right through the infinity through Gojo's neck and basically killing him. An important thing to note here is that Gojo's not yet the super OP Gojo that we all know and love. Like I said earlier, he's about the same power level as Geto is right now because he doesn't know reverse curse technique. And since he doesn't know reverse curse technique, he doesn't know his red technique and he doesn't know his hollow purple technique. I've done a whole video explaining all of his powers and how they work, so check that out if you're interested after this one. Now, Riko and Geto finally reach Tengen's chambers. After a heartfelt goodbye with Misato, her caretaker, Geto gives Riko a choice. After growing so close to Riko and realizing that she's really just a pawn in the game of the higher-ups of the Jujutsu Society, Geto gives her the choice to either go forward and merge with Tengen, or to turn back and live her life the way she wants to with her caretaker Misato and just in general. He said that he and Gojo actually came to this agreement before they ever even met her. If she chooses to turn back and live her life the way she wants to, she would have the full support and protection of Gojo and Geto, who in Geto's own words are the strongest. Geto really has a thing for protecting those that need protecting. Riko now breaks down as she's having to make a pretty much world-altering decision even though she's just a child, and when she decides to go back and live her life the way she wants to, it's abruptly ended by a gunshot to the head. Toji's responsible for this, and after telling Geto that he killed his best friend Gojo, the fight ensues. Geto releases his curse spirit manipulation technique on Toji, but it doesn't matter. Toji's invisible, and Geto, just like Gojo, can't track his movements. Toji cuts Geto down, but he spares his life because he doesn't know what would happen after he dies. If Geto dies, will all of the spirits that he absorbed with his curse spirit manipulation technique just be unleashed upon the world, and Toji has to deal with that right there? He doesn't know, so he doesn't take that chance. Toji now says a line that'll stay with Geto forever. You guys, with all of your blessings, lost to a monkey like me who can't even use Jujutsu. After this, we know that Gojo completely evolves, learning reverse curse technique, red, hollow purple, all of that, and he kills Toji easily. The effects that Toji and the people that hired him have on Gojo and Geto will never be forgotten. The Time Vessel Association is revealed to be a ruthless organization of non-sorcerers who manipulate the Jujutsu Society from the outside. When Gojo and Geto visit them to retrieve Riko's dead body from them, they contemplate killing every single one of them. These non-sorcerer humans were witnesses of and glad to see the death of Riko Amanai, even though the god that they worship didn't want her to die. He wanted her to merge with him. Gojo himself wants to slaughter them all, but Geto is the one who stops him, saying that that's not befitting for a Jujutsu sorcerer. Their ideology stayed the same for now. Gojo didn't like humans and Geto wanted to protect them, but the seeds of doubt had definitely been sown in Geto's head. Maybe, just maybe, these normal humans aren't the ones that need protecting after all. After a year, Gojo leveled up even more to be more OP and never have to deactivate his technique like ever, so the power gap between the two just starts to grow. This doesn't really make Geto jealous of Gojo, but it does begin to wear on him because his best friend, who was previously his equal, is now in a power class all of his own. Now, instead of taking missions together like they always used to, Gojo's power was so great that he started taking missions all on his own, and Geto had to do the same. The solitude of this life was really what started to get to Geto. He lived an endless cycle of solo missions that was made even worse by his cursed technique. Exercise, consume, repeat. This consumption of foul cursed spirits was just disgusting, but it was necessary for his own cursed technique. He began to grow delusional about just what he was protecting. Monkeys who cared nothing about their protectors. In this moment of weakness, Geto was visited by Yuki Tsukumo, who was the only other special grade sorcerer in the world at the time other than him and Gojo. She spouts her ideology to him, and this changes him forever. She thinks that Jujutsu High and normal sorcerers treat the symptoms of the issues of the world by fighting cursed spirits. She, on the other hand, wants to treat the root cause, which is the creation of cursed spirits itself. See, cursed spirits are created by leaked cursed energy from normal humans. Jujutsu sorcerers don't have this problem. They control their cursed energy so it doesn't leak. To solve this problem, Yuki proposes two different situations. She either wants to eliminate all cursed energy from the world through the use of heavenly restrictions like Toji Fushiguro, or to teach all humans how to control cursed energy. Since heavenly restrictions are so rare and nobody actually knows how to get one, Yuki wants to actually teach all humans to be Jujutsu sorcerers. That's the easiest solution. Geto poses a third option to her. Kill all non-sorcerers. She admits that this is probably the easiest way to do it because it's going to force evolution. I mean, all their kids are going to know how to control cursed energy. Geto then goes on a tirade about how his perception of humans has changed. He used to think they were weak and worth saving, but now he really doesn't know how he feels. He can't tell the difference between the preciousness of and the ugliness of humans in his own mind. It's caused him to have an existential crisis, basically. Yuki, being another special grade sorcerer, completely understands his conundrum, but only he can choose his path now, in her own words. The death of first year sorcerer Yu Habara basically confirms Geto's path. He makes a statement questioning everything he'd ever believed in now. If being a Jujutsu sorcerer is like running a marathon, what if what's at the end of the road is just a pile of our fellow Jujutsu sorcerers' corpses? What's the point of protecting the so-called weak if all it leads to is the death of us? This turning point was followed by what was possibly the worst mission he could have been given his mindset. A village was being terrorized by a cursed spirit, and Geto goes and exorcises that cursed spirit. After doing this, he finds two little girls beaten and locked up, and every human in the village swears up and down that these two girls are responsible for what's been happening. They had beaten them and blamed them for all of this simply because the little girls could see cursed energy. It's not their fault. Geto finally snaps. After all these moments and situations building up in his mind, after seeing the treatment of these little girls by normal humans, these little girls being people like him, Jujutsu sorcerers, he massacres every normal human in the village, and he saves these little girls from them. Geto officially realizes his true feelings toward humans, and he begins to enact his plan of eradicating all non-sorcerer humans on the earth. He even murders his own parents. Gojo and Yaga are astonished by this news. Geto has always been the level-headed one between him and Gojo. Gojo's the one who didn't like humans in the start. Geto meets Gojo to talk about just what he's doing, and he does this strategically in a crowded place so that Gojo can't use his techniques to take out Geto then and there. If he did, it'd just be over. He tells him his plan about eradicating all normal humans, and he makes a good point about Gojo whenever he does this. Arguably the only person in the world that can stop Geto from enacting his plan is Gojo, but if the roles were reversed, Gojo would have absolutely no problem enacting this because nobody could stop him. This one statement, in my opinion, shows the deeply buried resentment that Geto has for Gojo after he surpassed him in power completely. However, even after leaving him alone and becoming his #1 enemy, Geto still sees Gojo as his best friend and he respects him. After going their separate ways, Geto begins to take over religious groups like the TVA to start to enact his plan. His iconic monkey line starts here now as well. The next time we see Geto is about 9 years later during the events of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. He's watching over and testing Yuta Akatsu and trying to draw out his partner cursed spirit, Rika Orimoto. Geto believes that if she's just as strong as everyone in the street has been saying, that the collection of her will actually help him to turn the tables on Gojo. He continues biding his time, posing as a guru for normal humans so that he can collect the cursed spirits that plague them. It's actually a really good plan. Over the past 9 years, he's created a group of like-minded sorcerers who can help him enact this plan. He puts this plan in motion during the night parade of 100 demons. He plans to destroy Jujutsu High and capture Rika Orimoto in one fell swoop. He goes to Jujutsu High to talk to them and create a diversion in his plan. Basically, he wants to lure Gojo away from Yuta during the night of 100 demons. During this confrontation with Yuta and later Gojo, he reaffirms his ideologies. He says that Jujutsu sorcerers have to work in secret to protect humans who don't care about them. It's a terrible system where the strong have to submit to the weak. When you look at it this way, he's not completely wrong. The strong do serve the weak, but in Geto's own words before he changed his mind, Jujutsu sorcerers exist to protect the weak. Anyway, on December 24th, the night parade commences. Geto gives his own team only a 30% chance of winning this fight, but if he kills Yuta and captures Rika Orimoto, it gives them a 99% chance. He's pretty sure of her abilities, it sounds like. While Gojo and the other members of the Jujutsu Society are off at Shinjuku and Kyoto fighting Geto's army, Geto slips down to Jujutsu High to pay Yuta a visit. Panda, Inumaki, and Maki Zenin try to protect Yuta, but they are easily defeated by Geto. But Geto actually loves this because they're like Jujutsu sorcerers protecting another Jujutsu sorcerer, so it's kind of exactly what he's always wanted. Anyway, Yuta and Rika now take on Geto, and Geto's actually in over his head. Being a special grade sorcerer on his own, along with his partner Cursed Spirit, who's a special grade Rika, Yuta is more than a match for Geto. Geto's maximum Uzumaki technique was actually outclassed by Yuta and Rika's combined attack, and he's left severely injured. Gojo now comes to save Yuta, who didn't really even need saving, and he finds Geto, and one final conversation between the best friends happens. Geto's life is then taken by his very best friend. His ideals and conviction to see them through to the end were what ultimately brought about his demise by the one man who understood him and his ideals, just didn't see eye to eye with them. This was the end of Suguru Geto until we see him as the mastermind behind Mahito and everything that's happening at Shibuya in the current anime arc. Recently revealed though, this is not actually Geto. Mild spoilers ahead, so skip to the last section if you don't want to be spoiled for what's coming up in the anime soon. This entity is known as Kinjaku, and it's a being that takes over the bodies of powerful Jujutsu sorcerers and manipulates the Jujutsu Society from the shadows. Active for over 1,000 years, Geto's body is far from the first it's taken over. Now to answer the question, who really is Suguru Geto? Geto was a man who wanted to do nothing more than protect those he thought needed protecting. Along his journey, his view of who needed protecting switched from non-sorcerer humans to Jujutsu sorcerers. His environment and experiences led him to become jaded in his quest, and he ultimately died at the hands of his best friend for his ideals. He's a very misunderstood character, and throughout this examination of his life, I've gained an utmost respect for him. So you now understand Geto, but to truly understand him and his best friend Gojo's relationship, you need to check out this video linked on screen about Gojo. Until next time, peace.